Hello, Nature Ninos. Miss Sally here. We're going to do something a little bit different this week. Little bit different. This is the story we're going to read. It's called The First Strawberries, and it is a traditional story of the Cherokee Indians. I bet you've eaten delicious strawberries before, right? They're so good and they're so juicy. And this time of year, you can find them in lots of places and out even in the forest. I was hiking in the aspen groves in Santa Fe recently, and there's itty bitty little strawberries growing. Very exciting. So what we're going to do that's a little bit different today is we are going to learn a sign or two, but Miss Sally is actually going to play a story for you at the very end after I've read the book so that you can hear the language of the Cherokee, the Winnebago tribe. I thought that would be kind of fun. So I think you can see this here. I am going to switch over to this mode. So this is a story, like I said, a traditional Cherokee story called The First Strawberries. And it's retold by somebody called Joseph Bruchac or Bruchac. I'm not sure how to say his last name. And the pictures, the drawings are by a woman called Anna Vortek. That's who put this together. And this story comes from the Cherokee territory, the Cherokee area of the United States. We live in the United States. This is a map of the United States. And if you could see my little cursor here, this is New Mexico, which is where Nature Ninos is located. We are wedged between Texas, a little tiny bit of Kansas, except not really. Oklahoma, Kansas, Colorado is directly to the north of us, Utah, and Arizona. These four states here are collectively called the Southwest and the Four Corner states, because if you look at Utah, Colorado, New Mexico, and Arizona, each state is kind of shaped like a square, and then those squares are together, and there's four corners right in here in the middle. Anyway, the Cherokee territory is way over here, east of New Mexico. This area here in these states, Tennessee, North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, and Alabama. You might have heard of these places before. Miss Sally's mother lives here in South Carolina. North Carolina I've been to many times. It's beautiful. Georgia is also really a great place. Peaches grow there. I don't know as much about Alabama, and I've only ever been to Tennessee to visit the Smoky Mountains, which is what this word is here. But this sort of orange area is kind of the traditional Cherokee area, which is where the story comes from. And there you go. There's just one sign I'm going to show you for this week, and you can listen for when you hear it and sign it, and also listen for any words and signs that we might have gone over in other weeks, because I think there are some repeats here in this story. But we're going to focus just on one sign because, like I said, after I read the book once, I am going to stream a little video from YouTube that is produced by a special group of people, and you can hear the Winnebago language being read in the story. And I thought that would be a fun change. So this is the sign for strawberries. I'm going to pop out of here in a second and show you the sign. Here I am. Okay, so strawberries we sign like this. You put your thumb and your pinky pointer finger together like this, and you kind of, like you're picking one up. That's what you're kind of doing. Strawberries, they're so delicious, strawberries. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to read the book. And you're going to listen your first time around. And I know some of the words that are in here that you've heard before, and signs, or sun is one of them. Flower, I think we've done before. I know those two words and signs are in this book. So you can listen for sun, flower, and strawberry. You do it. How do you sign strawberry? Strawberry. Okay, the first, strawberries. This is a good book. But then again, I think every book is kind of a good book. It's just the way I fly. I like them all. Long ago, when the world was new, the Creator made a man and a woman. The two of them were made at the same time so that neither would be lonesome. They married, and for a long time they lived together and were very happy. Do you see them together, the husband and wife? This page doesn't have any words. They're just enjoying their time together, and it looks like they're doing some food preparation or gardening. Then one afternoon, the man came home from hunting and found that the woman had not yet begun to prepare their meal. Instead, she was out picking flowers. The man grew angry. "I am hungry," he said in a cold voice. "Do you expect me to eat flowers?" Now the wife too became angry. She had picked those flowers to share their beauty with her husband. "Your words hurt me," she said. "I will live with you no longer." She turned to the west and began to walk toward the sun. Her husband followed, but her steps were too quick. He could not catch her. He called her name, but she could not hear him. He went as fast as he could go, but his wife was much faster. Oh gosh, she is fast. That is a quick woman. The sun watched as the husband followed her. The sun saw how sorry the man was and took pity on him. "Are you still angry with your wife?" asked the sun. "No," said the man. "I was foolish to speak angry words, but I cannot catch her to tell her I am sorry." "Then I will help you," said the sun. It's pretty cool, but he's having a conversation with the sun. The sun shone its light down on the earth in front of the woman. Where its light shone, raspberries grew up. The berries were ripe and looked deliciously good to eat, but the woman paid no attention to them and just kept walking. The sun tried again. It shone down and blueberries grew. They glistened brightly in the sunlight, but the woman paid no attention to them. She only walked on towards the west, leaving her husband farther and farther behind. Now the sun tried a third time, where its beams touched the earth. Blackberries grew up. They were dark and plump, but the woman's anger was too great and she did not see them. That happens sometimes, huh? We get so angry or upset or emotional about something, we can hardly think or see straight. That happens to humans, even adults. We just have to learn to try to work through it and be better people. At last, the sun tried its hardest with all its might. It shone its light down in the grass right in front of the woman's feet. And strawberries appeared. They glowed like fire in the grass. And the woman had to stop when she saw them in front of her. She knelt down and plucked one of those delicious strawberries, and bit into it. She had never tasted anything like it before. Its sweetness reminded her of how happy she and her husband had been together before they quarreled. I must gather some of this fruit for my husband, she said, and she began to pick the strawberries. She was still picking them when the man caught up to her. But look at her smile now. I think her face tells a different story than before, huh? Forgive me for my hard words, the man said to her. And she answered him by sharing the strawberries. So it was that strawberries came into the world. To this day, when the Cherokee people eat strawberries, they are reminded to always be kind to each other, to remember that friendship and respect are as sweet as the taste of ripe red strawberries. The end. But look at all those delicious strawberries in there. If there was a clearer picture, if you could see it more clearly, I'd ask you, count how many strawberries you could see. I don't think my camera is quite clear enough. There are many. Okay, so I hope you liked that wonderful story. What we're going to do now is I will play for you this other version of the same exact story, and this time you can be listening, okay, for the words, but you can also be listening for the Cherokee language. And when it's all done, I will say goodbye and out we will go. So here we go. I hope you can hear this.
The First Strawberries, a Cherokee story. A long time ago, when the world was first created, the Creator made a man. He saw that the man was alone, so he created a woman, so the man would not be lonely. They built a home and lived together happily for a long time. Then one day the man came home from hunting and found that the woman had not begun to prepare a meal. Instead, she was out picking flowers.
Wangra do kewihi nanki karahawa kirigaja. Kehi nungrahi enino. Nige khaweo kherewehi jeje airena. Ogi dekhoni nena.
The man grew angry. He said,
I'm hungry. Do you expect me to eat flowers?
Hinungrahi gena.
Now the wife became angry too. She had picked those flowers to share their beauty with her husband.
Regunish kehi nungra wogi dekshana. Khaweo kherera ewa giwehike.
Your words hurt me.
She said,
I will live with you no longer.
Te warai pink janeja yare ge wa onjena. Nanchkera dek jihina. Hake hanin kiru achining shanena. Ana ganige mani nena.
She turned away and began walking toward the sun, to the west. Her husband followed her, but her footsteps were too quick. He could not even catch her.
We hodera eja chagi wena. Iguana wangara hironak lunge. Kehu khreru khrugnina.
He called her name, but she could not hear him. He went as fast as he could, but his wife walked faster.
Hinungra gigo nuinge. Kenach kunina. Wangra sagre mani. Nuinge. Hinungra hirai jeda sagre manina.
The son watched as the husband followed her. He could see how sorry the man was.
Wira jagu unangra wajana. Wangra ora jarawi ki bakhti jehajanaga. Nanjogi jana.
Are you still angry with your wife? Asked the son.
Rego woningi degraje. Wangra hiki wakshana.
No,
Said the man.
I was foolish to speak angry words. I can't catch her to tell her that I'm sorry. Ka kepi wa hanina. Aki bochina. Agi dakna I. Nuinge ke wa kre bukhuruknina.
Then I will help you, said the son, and shone his light down on earth.
Wira ki jirek jeje hirena. Ningi jedek jena. Wangra higena. Ana gamana hatajahina.
Where its light shone down, raspberries grew. The berries were ripe and looked so good to eat.
Hachinja mana hadajahira ejab. Has shuchkeho guirena. Hagirairena ga horo hojra as jinena.
But the woman paid no attention to them. She continued walking. The sun tried again. It shone down its light, and blueberries grew.
Hinungra keshke woro hojnina. Kehi wushani egon wiodera eja chagi wena. Wira jige egon higichkana. Mana hadajahi gaja. Astin ko guirena.
They glistened in the sunlight, but the woman paid no attention to them. She only walked toward the west, leaving her husband further behind.
Chokchi hadajairena ga horo hojra pink jinena. Ego hinungra ke woro hojnina. Wangra hirai jera hagejat unena.
Now the sun tried a third time. Where its beams touched down on earth, blackberries grew. They were dark and plump, but the woman did not even look at them.
Wira hidani hana higichkana. Hachinja hadajara mana hiki ogi eja hase poguirena.
The woman's anger was so great that she could not even see them. At last, the sun tried its hardest. It showed its light right in front of the woman's feet.
Egis ke ogi dekjinge. Ke wana impinina. Jegonge wajana ke pinwa jaru khrugnina. Jige egon washta jiwira higichkana. Hinungra si choech jinja. Wana hadajahi.
And strawberries appeared. They glowed like fire in the grass, and the woman had to stop. She knelt down and bit into it. She had never tasted anything like it before.
Hashtag eja haguiren shuchi. Pejniske hadaja chant ine. Hinugram hiwushana. Hazi janwehina garachkana. Harachabra asjin agaskuchina.
Its sweetness reminded her of how happy she and her husband had been before they quarreled.
I must gather some fruits and berries for my husband,
She said, and began to pick the berries.
Hinugra hi peres kiri nakshana. Waro hakchi wangra. Wanaishkuni hakichinaga. Wanaishkuni hakiju uinena. Hi pereske hazra hiske wagiwehina.
She was still picking the berries when the man caught up to her.
Forgive me for my hard words.
He said. She answered by sharing the berries with him.
Haswehi jega jachangere wangra hucherena.
KP wahanije ya pereshana.
Wangra ena.
The woman fed the sweet berries to the man without a word. So it is that when strawberries came into the world.
Hinugra ke waja ani. Haschek hijanampi wangra waruchki gina. Huskuchina. Hakichana jegun has chegra. Chek jinho guirena.
The strawberry sweetness is like the sweetness of life. The sweetness reminds us to respect each other and forgive unkindness. Life is sweet as the taste of a ripe red berry.
Has check huskuchina honi ambra hikiskairena. Honi ambra skuchina. Hoskuchina hikish agwikje nagawoishana. Higit unam wikje je. Hinaki perezwina.
Excellent. I hope you enjoyed that story this week, Nature Ninos. We'll see you next week. And in the meantime, I hope you get to eat some delicious strawberries. Bye bye. See you next week.